We go to the stock market to give you highlights of the stock trading as it went down on Thursday on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The market closed positive 0.07%. The volume of trade 63.707 million, value at 3.442 billion naira in a days of 6,000, I beg your pardon, 579 deals exchange hands among investors. Of course, there was more like a recovery from what we had the previous trading session. Let's look at the gaining equities. The equities that recorded gain yesterday, we have Better Glass. Better Glass recorded 10% gain to close at 59 naira and 40 kobo. Multiverse in the mining sector gained 9.98% to close at 5 naira and of course 29 kobo. Of course, Enamewa playing in the agri sector there, gaining 9.97% to close at 19 naira and 30 kobo per share. Let's look at the losers, the top losing equities by percentages. Of course, LRX, down there 9.89%. It also play in the agri segment of the market. 9.89% it lost to close at 3 naira and 37 kobo. Omatech, a computer hardware producer, also down 9.17% to close at 99 kobo per share. And of course, in the education sector, you have the academic press there down 5.56% to close at 1 naira and 7 kobo per share. Let's look at the top trading. The top trading equities by volume. The top trading equities by volume. We have this or the sector. Of course, Universal Insurance Company, 164 million volume of shares traded. Veritas Capital Assurance there 7.1 million shares, and of course Unity Bank of Nigeria PLC 24 million volume of shares of its shares were actually traded on Thursday. Let's look at the sectoral performance. We have the banking sector gaining 0.03%, the industrial sector 0.04%. The NGS Consumer Good Index also down there, the only loser based on the sectors we're actually looking at today, down there 0.05%. And of course, the oil and gas sector has been dormant for a while. Nobody's interested in playing in that sector. A lot of uncertainty surrounding the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. Of course, the insurance sector, the biggest gainer, 1.27% it recorded on Friday. Let's look at the rest of Africa and indeed to see how they are doing. In Joburg, it is a positive trade in Johannesburg. For the rest of Africa, the African market, the Joburg closed positive 0.07% there. Of course, going to Tunisia, the market in Joburg is up 0.09%, and of course MSC in Mauritius down 0.11%, and of course Nairobi Stock Exchange is also down 0.12%. It recorded on Friday. And of course, yesterday there was a report from NBS, National Bureau of Statistics. That is away from the stock market now. We'll look at the NBS report about household consumption that was recorded, released yesterday by NBS. We look at the consumption rate. If you look at the Q2 in 2023, the consumption rate is up by 3.3%. The last time we had this growth was in Q1 of 2022 when we had 8.66%. Apart from that, the rest of the data from the NBS, you see them in the negative. In Q1 2023, it is 24.95% negative. In Q4 2022 is 12.47 down there. And of course in Q3 2022 is down as well, 5.83%. And of course same Q2 2022 is also down 5.21%. So what we had is in Q2, the recent result is up by 3.3%. And of course, the last time we had an increase was in Q1 of 2022. That is the first quarter of 2022, 8.66%. So the highlight of what we had yesterday from the National Bureau of Statistics. So now we go on a very quick break now. When we come back, we are going to delve into our discussion. We're looking at pension administration in Nigeria. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. It's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now we go into our discussion, and today we're looking at pension. Very, very important topic, because when you are working both in private or public sector, of course, by the time you're getting close to your retirement, you should be expecting to, survive on the your pension deduction, what you've been able to contribute while in service. And I have joining me in the studio today somebody who's an expert in this field. Is a pension administrator and, of course, Director of Corporate Services at PTAD, Sani Mustapha. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf.
All right, so let's understand the pension contributions now. Quite a whole lot of has been said with regards to these areas. Many have said that some workers don't actually plan or prepare for retirement. What can you say about that?
Well, workers really need to prepare for their retirement, because when you retire, you are really exposed, and access to money is key to retirement. So you need to prepare.
That's a key word today.
Yes, money is key. You have to make sure that you get the maximum income from your pension, and also prepare to reduce your expenses when you retire. It will involve family decisions, your own personal decisions, to make sure that as you exit service, you have less expenses, and you have the maximum income you can get.
For the expenses.
For the expenses.
But how can a worker, both in private or public sector,
public sector? Now, we have a timeline. For example, a young person entering service at grade level 8, maybe he has not even married. So he should plan his family not to have too many children. He should make sure that he has at least within the service, his own service of 35 years, he open a retirement savings account and make sure he fund it, and make sure that if he has chances of additional voluntary contribution, he does that. And also to ensure that before he retire, he has at least a house to himself, so that he doesn't retire and go into rent payment. That is what his plans should be. He should also educate himself as he is working, to make sure that by the time he exits service, he is somebody which people can come for work, for consultancy, things like that. If it is farming, he has prepared before he retired. That is somebody young. Somebody who has maybe reached like 10 years in service. He must have started his family. He must have done many things. So it's now left for him to now look at what he has done before, and then look at the future, so that he can now address where he see that he's going wrong, and then channel his whole, services, his actions towards making sure he has a good retirement.
Interesting. This is a very interesting topic, and I'm sure quite a whole lot of people want to know what it entails. Well, is it about capacity building while in service? Is it about saving enough money while in service? Or is it about engaging in other businesses? A lot of people are actually involved in, taking loans and so many other things while in service. But in most cases, you discover that some of these loans are not properly applied in some areas. So by the time they are due for retirement or while in service, there's really nothing much left for them to actually save or rely upon. What advice do you have for
what
such
I advise
servants?
Is all those things you mentioned. He has to look at his own personal development. He started maybe as a degree holder, you understand, and he was given an appointment based on that. Definitely, as he go through service, he need to add some more qualifications. He need to get registered with his own professional bodies. All those ones. Then, on the other hand, he need to plan his family. Not for him to get carried away and start a very big family, which will be a burden. And he has to, raise his kids as early as possible, so that before he exits service, some of them have already finished school. Those are the thing that, but definitely if you are in a position and you start, going for expenses, you will have nothing at the end of the day. For example, you can take loan. You should belong to cooperatives so that you take loan and buy real estate. In your town, in where you are working, there are good real estate, at the outskirts of the town that are cheap for you to key in. But make sure you don't go where they do what I call our Igia, where all these people, you go where government registered, they may be more expensive, but they are better, it's safer for you. And as you grow along, real estate also grow along with you.
So the value appreciates.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now let's look at pension contribution. We have that graphics. Yes. If we can get that graphics about pension contribution in Nigeria, so far there's been an increase with regard to that in the last couple of years. If you look at it now, the total contribution currently is 17.7 trillion naira. That is an increase of 1.8% from 16.76 trillion naira at the end of June of this year. So if you look at the pension fund and corporate debt, if you look at these are the allocations, 1.8 trillion to corporate debt. Money market instrument is taking 1.5 trillion. Investment in ordinary shares of local companies rose to 1.338 trillion from 1.268 trillion naira. The portfolio allocations to FGN security was 10.8 trillion. If we can still get that graphics there, there's quite a whole lot of it to look at there. 10.8 trillion retirement savings account, talking about RSA holders. As at July, it's about over 10 million 25,304 people. So now looking at these numbers, do you think the number of people now, keying into RSA is increasing?
Yes. People.
And why?
Because as people open new companies, they register their workers. Some states are on the way to keying into the contributory pension. And when they come, we're talking of 200, 300, even 400 people will be registered under this. And thankfully, this is a large body of money that the country uses for investment. Everywhere, the stock market, the real estate, where it is structured, this money is used and is helping this Nigeria. The economy of Nigeria now is really keen into these pension funds.
Indeed, very, very impressive there. What about there's another daunting challenge before pension administrators. You one of them. There's issue of embezzlement of pension funds. That has been in the front burner for a long time. What will you say with regards to that?
I believe that when you say embezzlement,
especially by some state governments.
By some state, yes. You see, that is why the National Pension Commission is trying very hard to bring in states, because this contributory pension is structured. It is not where you just carry a paper and create liability for state government. In the state government, where the boards are not manned by specialists, they do not have compliance department. You understand? Everybody is being pushed to that board, and they do create liability for the state government. That is how, the governor will be so good to release money, and that money may not reach the pensioners, all of them. But under the contributory pension, there is no way something like that can happen. The records are there. There is no embezzlement in the contributory pension.
But there's bureaucracy.
There is bureaucracy in order to protect the money. You understand? And Nigerians need to understand and get more awareness about how the contributory pension works. You understand? All these, there are difficulties here and there, but it is to protect the owner of the retirement savings account and also the company that is holding this money. If you look at it, it was done in such a way that the pension fund administrator do not keep the money. It is pension custodian.
All right.
Yes. So this way, the National Pension Commission hold the two of them, you understand, to make sure that people, when they retire, they get their money as at when
due.
Yes.
Indeed, that's very, very impressive there. Let's look at delay in deductions by some government. It's delay in remitting,
yes,
rather, pension deductions, yes, by some government agencies.
And some companies sector too, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So how can this delay, what factor do you think is responsible for that, and how can it be addressed?
Usually, I'm not an owner of a company, but I can say it is these economic difficulties. They will do the deduction on paper and pay the worker. There will be deduction on tax, there will be deduction on pension, maybe there will be deduction on a cooperative contribution. Yeah. But really, the money that is available is what is to pay the worker so that he can continue working. This other one are now a liability, which if the company gets money, they will now pay.
Offsets.
Yes, so you see 3 months, 4 months, even 1 year. But the National Pension Commission is going very hard, even engaging consultants to go to companies. And you know, where these companies are reached, they usually pay back.
All right, let's look at the contribution now. The minimum contribution under the Act, that is a Pension Act now, is about 18%. That is talking about monthly deduction. So it's a minimum contribution of 10% by employer, and of course 8% by employee. Putting all of this together, looking at this, the current economic reality, do you think this figure or this number is enough?
To be frank, my own personal opinion is that this percentage should be increased. But, you know, people will cry that what will remain for them to go to the market. But then the retirement, you need more money in retirement. And you need to save more so that your RSA balance at retirement will be robust enough, you know, to be getting something that nears your salary. You know, the permanent secretaries, the big ogas of army, police, they are very lucky. The government said they can go with their salary. But other workers who are really in need of help, they don't go with their salary. So you have to go yourself.
The middle income earners.
The middle income earners, yes.
No, indeed, quite a whole lot of issues there. Let's look at the issue around pension annuity.
Yes.
It's another very important issue, but there's been a lot of reverse in the gains recorded in that sector for a very long time. Not so much people are interested in engaging in that segment of pension administration.
Well, Section 7, subsection 1 of the Pension Reform Act is what brought the way you get your benefit, either program withdrawal or retiree lifetime annuity. And the retiree lifetime annuity is given by the life insurance companies, not PFAs this time around. There is difference. You know, the Pension Reform Act wants to give as much of choice to the retiree so that when you retire, you can make your own choice how you want to be getting your retirement funds. Yes. So the annuity guarantees that so long as you are alive, money will be paid to you. You understand? So, but the other program withdrawal, you will allow the pension fund administrator to continue to invest your money, and then you will be getting your own pension retirement funds at the end of every month or every quarter.
As at when due.
As at when due. Now, all of them, they are sanctioned by the government. The government agrees that they are a viable retirement fund way of people to get their pension fund. Now, the annuity, sincerely, there need to be more awareness. Even though the life insurance companies are very aggressive, they have ways of. But I believe all of them, since the National Pension Commission said all this, we guarantee them, we agree with them, I think people should just make their choice. There are differences, of course, but they are all okay as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Now, when you look at the numbers, according to Pension Commission, that is PENCOM now, the number of people contributing to pension is around 10 million.
Yes.
But if you look at those captured in pension annuity, it's just a meager 3,156 retirees. All right. So when you look at the number that was approved especially for private sector, it's around 172, and of course in the public sector is 1,984 number. So when you compare this with 10 million, that is quite a very small
The 10
number.
million is active workers. They are not retirees. So what you will get that number is from people that retired at what year. So that you can now say these people have gone for retiree lifetime annuity and then program withdrawal. You see, there is more interaction between the PFAs and retirees. So possibly they don't go to the life insurance companies until when they retire.
Certainly.
That is, so you will see that there is a gap. And you don't relate with these people, you relate with your pension fund administrator. You are conversant with all that is happening with program withdrawal. But it is only at retirement that this other one is now introduced to you. So you see the uptake will be much lower.
All right, it's more like an insurance.
It's more like an insurance.
An insurance.
Yes, but so it's good.
Okay, for retirees now who don't really have knowledge of this, and of course the lack of publicity with regard to pension annuity.
Yes.
So what do you think PENCOM should do in this regard?
Is to continue with awareness, and the lifetime the insurance companies, the life insurance companies should also up their awareness campaign. You know, they should reach out to people that are currently contributing under the CPS, reach them in their workplace, tell them about it, so that by the time they retire, they all know about the annuity. Yes.
Interesting. What about some insurance company that see this as business? They see this as a good mine, as an opportunity to make money off retirees?
Well, I believe annuity is a gold mine, because you are given money to invest, and once you do, you have a guaranteed period of about 10 years. After 10 years, no matter what happened to the retiree, the money is kept by you. If the retiree died after 10 years, you are not going to give his next of kin anything.
It's dependent.
Yes, but for the program withdrawal, definitely whatever remains in the account will be given to the next of kin. But there are life annuity other arrangements where you understand.
It depends on which of the policy you are
exactly taking. So in this case, don't make a decision until you go round the whole companies, talk to financial advisors, talk to friends that you know can help you before you make a decision. Don't rush.
All right. Yes. I must thank you, Sani Mustapha, Pension Administrator, and of course, Director of Corporate Services at PTAD. I must thank you for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
I mean, a really eye-opener for retirees and, of course, pensioners. I must thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right. With that is a wrap on the show for the week. We'll be back on Monday. I am Yusuf Akogun.